Good Monday morning, and welcome to Ice Age TV, the internal combustion engine age YouTube channel that talks about all my cars and trucks and SUVs, motorcycles, the dogs, the attitudes. Some may be, hey, some people on the channel may, you got a Cadillac? No, that's my mother-in-law's. She is with my wife in Boston, traveling, having a good old time. So, hey there, here we are on the Ice Age TV of the week. Beautiful Monday morning, a little cool. And wow, what a weekend. And as always, thanks so much for tuning into my channel, all the great supporters, all the great comments. I just like the regulars that kind of stay in touch with what's going on. So it makes it more personable. That's what's so cool about the YouTube channel is a lot of you out there really watch my channel on a regular basis, so you're really in tune with what's going on, and you guys make some really funny comments. I just love this stuff. I mean, you guys just crack me up. So it's great stuff, so thank you so much. Share the channel, and wow, what a weekend. Well, I mean, come on, if you're watching my channel, it just doesn't end. The Iceman just doesn't end. It's always an adventure, and we had a great adventure yesterday. Wow, what I pulled off over the weekend. Pretty incredible when, in so many ways. Yesterday, Saturday, I was with Chris and Shannon. If you watch the videos of me riding the Honda Goldwing out there to Skyline Harley. Any of the Skyline Harley guys watching, good morning. I hope Riley, if you listen to my video today, hope you're better. Apparently Riley out there, one of the sales guys, wasn't feeling well, wasn't in on Saturday. So anyways, as we approached the shop here, had a great day Saturday, where we were thinking about riding our motorcycles on Sunday, but it was just kind of a little too cold. And for my daughter, she doesn't have the right motorcycle to do that because it's just going to be too cold for her. She doesn't have heated grips, doesn't really have, per se, a big fairing. And yeah, I know, if you really want to ride, you can ride. But here we are, the collection of cars, as always. We have a collection. And for me, now at two sales for the year. And with the weeks out, I could be at 4. Is it the same old story? Come on, puppies. Is it the same old story? If you watch my channel, it's like, yeah, this guy goes out and buys stuff all the time. That's the same old story, right? But hey, a lot of times it's something different, right? But what? Unbelievable for what I pulled off and what I actually end up buying. I mean, it's like, here's my new look hat. I gotta put that on. Gotta get my new look on my Fast Johnny. Gotta have my blue for the blue. So hey, get the dogs. Hey puppies, come on. Get the dogs up in the office. That's always a project. Stop it. Stop it. You guys just quit playing too hard. Hey. So let's get the boys up there. And come on. And go on. You're the last one up. And that works a lot better. Okay, you go on. Go on. You can go. Get up, everybody. Leave her alone. Leave her alone. Yeah, maybe knows my channel, but yeah, that dog there, he's trouble. So anyways, what are we talking about? I mean, the constant challenge of the Iceman to keep those entertained on morning conversations. And I thought to myself, what better conversation to use than the Fast Johnny Road Glide. Oh my gosh. If you're really watching my channel, you're going to say, Iceman, this makes no sense of what you have done in your life. You were on a page to buy back your Street Glide. You were on the page to buy a Street Glide. It never, but here's a Road Glide. And all you talked about is how you have 3 CVO Road Glides. Yeah, I know. I didn't say I was the brightest of the bunch. I mean, I never claimed that on my channel. I never said I'm the expert. I've never ever made those claims. I'm not the philosopher. I'm not the prophet. So I'm just a guy that's crazy that likes to have the Ice Age in my life. That's just who I am. I'm the Ice Age guys. I love motors. And so anyways, if you're watching the channel and you're staying abreast, yes, in so many ways, why did I do that? Why did you give up your 2023 Platinum CVO Road Glide that you purchased back in August? You go and put Chromeworks exhaust on the bike, and you brag about the bike. The bike borderline convinces you to get rid of your Indian Challenger Elite. The borderline, the new Harley product, has borderline separated you from Indian, as I have all these Indian rugs here. So those that really watch my channel, like, yeah, this guy's gone from being a total Indian guy to being now, he's gone back to his true beginnings of his bagger days of being a Harley guy, which is true. That's going on. Why is that? Is it the old school? So that's what I thought today would be great, is let's talk about the old. We have the old, we have the new. But let's talk about the old. Because now, this Harley Davidson 2023 model is now the old technology from this point on. In 2024, there will no longer be built a Harley Davidson ST product, nor will we have this product in a two-wheel technology. If you go to the trike and you get an RG3 Tri-Glide, you will still have the previous generation technology. You know, the whole setup is the same. You just have two wheels in the back, one in the front. So it isn't as if Harley's abandoned all this technology here, but for the two-wheel side, you're not going to get a 2024 bike that looks like this in the Bagger series. Road Glide, Street Glide is what I'm speaking of. I'm not talking about the other bikes. I'm just focused on the Bagger bikes here. So if you're watching my channel and see what's going on, it's just incredible on how at Skyline Harley, I really was at arm's reach to get a Street Glide. But yet then they took it away. It's just so unfortunate because I tried to get a deal done out there. We really just couldn't get the deal done. So I got fixated on Chesapeake Harley of getting my Street Glide back. And it required a lot. It basically required close to double the money down to get the deal done. It just didn't make any sense because it's the loan to value ratio when it comes to trading something for something. And of course, you're going to have negative equity at the table and you got to buy that out or you don't. So there's a lot of variables there. But I was really more on wanting to have a different ride because I wanted the Street Glide just so it's different from the Road Glide. But even though in so many ways, I think the Road Glide really is the better package, I think the Road Glide looks really cool. And for the record, I bought something different instead of just buying back my bike. And that's what the dealership was just hammering. It's like, why do you want to buy back your old bike when you get a Road Glide? We'll give you a great deal on it, make the numbers work. So we went around that. You watch that in my video. You'll see all that. So let's just kind of get beyond that and talk more now about old school and new school. And what's so crazy is I don't really like the new school Street Glide. I don't know what it is. I cannot get excited. If you really watch my channel, you'll see last August, I had a deal done on a CVO Street Glide Platinum 23 brand new model. And I was supposed to trade out my other Harleys, my Fast Johnny, my CVO Limited. And I announced like on a Saturday morning that I decided I'm not going to do the deal. I was like, I don't like the deal. I'm not excited about the Street Glide. I wasn't excited about that. I really wanted the Road Glide CVO. So I came to closure, just sit it out and wait. Well, then if you watch the channel, you realize that CVO Road Glide that I really wanted the whiskey neat, but just too much money. But the Platinum one up there, the guy had a deal on it. He walked away. So then that turned into me then reversing my decision and letting go of my Fast Johnny, my CVO Limited. You've heard this conversation many times. So come full circle, here we are. The CVO Limited is back at Chesapeake Harley where I bought it. And in some ways, the Fast Johnny's back home. In some ways, but not the Street Glide. But it's in the Road Glide. So here's the point. Old school, new school. And that's what I'm saying is I can't get excited about the Street Glide, new platform, new technology look of that bike. I rather would have a Road Glide. I like the Road Glide better. Up there at Chesapeake Harley, the owner, I mentioned this yesterday in my video, but everybody watches all my videos. But if you watch the video, you'd see that the owner claims that a majority of the sales in this market that we're in, especially that Maryland area, is more Road Glide than Street Glide. And he's like, you go out west, you go to other parts of the country, believe it or not, the Street Glide's kind of stronger. It's just a different of demographics. But the Road Glide is more sellable in this market. So he was kind of pitching that. So anyways, so what's really cool here is I've got two Road Glides. And in so many ways, this is the CVO previous generation, which I have sitting in my trailer over there. I literally have a 2021 exact same bike in so many ways. The real difference is, I believe would be the bags, maybe, can't be for sure, and I think so, and the paint scheme. But other than that, it's a 117 motor. It's really the same bike, and that's why I had a hard time buying another Road Glide, even though I'm more on the page now. I'd probably let my 21 CVO go eventually because I kind of have a CVO now, if you understand all that. And here's the news. just so anybody out there kind of sitting on the fence, the STs are done. So when you want to go buy a 2023 Road Glide, or I should say, you want to go buy a 24 Road Glide or Street Glide ST, they're not building them anymore. Lowriders, I don't know on that. I'm not really in tune with that. Somebody else may know better than me. So the point is, I think once the word gets out more that the ST is done, which this is the Bagger series, performance-oriented style bike. And if you're the real motorhead enthusiast and you watch the Harley-Davidson Indian Bagger series bike racing, that's what's kind of intrigued all this type of look and a little bit more aggressive-looking bike. And that's what this CVO ST is all about, is it's the Bagger series bike that's kind of taken that concept and idea and put it into the sellable to the average person. And that's why I call it the ST series. But anyways, the whole point is, if you want a ST, and sure, there'll be used ones out there. And what's really even more intriguing, if the Street Glide Fast Johnny is such a badass vehicle, why is that vehicle still sitting there since I traded it in August? You have to scratch your head. And I was asking a dealer that. There's like, this just makes no sense that my CVO Limited, like 2019, disappeared rather quickly. And that Fast Johnny is sitting there where they're having to literally take about a $2,500, $2,000 loss because of the of what's the bike. What they paid me is $31. It's right now at $28.8. So if we just run the numbers, $2,200 loss. So it's a lost deal. But anyways, once again, just wanting to speak out loudly here. If you want the old school, these old school bikes now are disappearing. And you'll just have to wait for a used one if that's really where you are. So what's really neat now is I can talk in more depth about the differences of these bikes because, once again, this in so many ways is a CVO. In my opinion, it's a CVO compared to CVO because of the motor on it and the way it looks. But you have to look at the front end. When you look at the front end first, this has a traditional telescopic forks. It doesn't have the inverted forks. So I've heard if you want to take that technology and put on this bike, that's rather expensive. That could be a $3,000 bill. So first thing you look at this bike on the front end, just the forks, this is a much more aggressive, better riding, performance-oriented bike. The inverted forks, for anybody that's a motorhead, they know the inverted forks is the hottest thing on most bikes that make them more performance-oriented. So that's the first thing. Second thing is, look at the front end of the fairing. Totally different design. The windscreen in so many ways is very similar, but totally different front end on the shark fin, shark fairing, whatever you want to call it. Then we walk around in the fenders. This is a little bit more of an aggressive fender here, the carbon fiber, the camouflage, as some people say it. The wheels, which is very interesting, the wheels are different. I like the brass wheels. The Brembo brakes, I think the Brembo calipers are probably the same. It's just a different style cut on that disc, I think. I could be wrong on that. Then you come around to the handlebars. And this is what I don't like about the previous generation handlebars is they're pulled in. I call them the nutcracker because they're angled in. And it's just, you kind of have a weird body position. And that's one thing that's been a negative on the Road Glide from day one for me. On the CVO ST, or even the CVO in general, it has more of the T-bar, the straighter, more flat, push your arms out. I think it's just a better feel, and you have a little bit more confidence how your hands are more going forward instead of your hands kind of coming in. So you have better pressure points, I think, on handling those handlebars. This is just a little bit awkward how you kind of push your arms and your elbows into your body because of the way the position of those bars are kind of pulled in. I'm not surprised they never kind of updated those bars because you can, for about $2,200, just for the bars and the setup, you can buy what you could really get over there. But if you pay for the labor, it's going to be a $3,000 plus bill because it's a rather lengthy project to change them out. People are already bringing that up. Don't disagree, but that's pricey. That's not happening today. So handlebars, and then this is where I think the old school. This is where I think that we are so much more in today's world. is old school, just the analog gauges versus everything going digital. And I really think that more than ever, people are going to start really looking for the old age, the retro, because we're just so quickly advancing in all this technology. And I think a lot of people just are kind of separating themselves. They just don't like all this technology in the cars and motorcycles. So that's why I think the old school, the old conversation, the great conversation today, because I think we are at an age where a lot of people are going to be more on the page that they just like the good old days. They just like things more simple. And that's why I like the Harley Davidson ST model, is because it's such still to me now the old school Harley Davidson. I love the 117 motor. I think the 117 motor is the best motor they could have got. I don't understand why Harley didn't put this heat shield here. I would be tempted myself to put a heat shield, this right here. Look at this here. You don't really notice that empty wheel well. It's not a wheel well, but you don't empty. That's so, to me, that needs, I'm surprised. If I was one of the designers, I would have been so much more on getting that cover for that area there, because it just seems to have a big gaping hole in it. I don't think that looks good. I think that's a negative there. So there's a difference on the motorcycles. So as far as the handlebars go, the infotainment center, but this is what I talk about all the time, that Harley really blew it. So this motorcycle here, this is the old lock, steering lock, tumbler, but it's actually the accessory power on the motorcycle. So right now the motorcycle is powered on. I can actually turn this motorcycle on, which will do that. Here's the button to actually now, where is my volume here? So now I can actually hit the start button. Okay, and the motorcycle is running. And that's a great thing, right? It started right up. That thing started up so nice. So now, if I go to the gas station or I pull over the side of the road, you want to take a little time out or something, and you want to turn the bike off, you can turn this bike off. But all the accessories are still on. And if you're the guy that has your Bluetooth connected to the radio, your headset, whatever it may be, you really want to keep that all connected. You have no idea how many times I've been on these motorcycles, and I know anybody that's a motorcycle enthusiast knows this conversation. It is so aggravating, because once you turn the bike off, remember, this thing's still powered on, the motor's not running, you have everything still attached to the bike, and you can make things work. What happens typically, once you turn this bike off, and you walk away, you come back 10 minutes later, and you turn it back on, or just 5 minutes, whatever it is, you don't get the connectivity. It all goes haywire. It's happened so many times. It is so maddening and aggravating. So over here, I've shown you a gazillion times. Here we go. Where's the nothing there? Why did they take that away? It makes no sense. So one person says, well, you can accessorize and power this thing on. Yes, you can. You can do that without actually starting the motorcycle. That's fabulous. Great. Okay. But here's the thing. I want to start the bike up and have it run. So I just turned on the accessory switch, like one person said. It's in neutral. Let's start it up. Okay. There we are. Not much difference in sound, because both of them have pretty much the same exhaust to some degree. All right, so the bike's running. Look here, I've already bought Chromeworks. Thank you, Bill up at Chesapeake Harley Davidson. Great parts guy. Anybody up there at Chesapeake, ask for Bill. He's a great guy. He's got a great kid. And so now here's the thing. All right, so now I just want to turn the motor off. How do I turn the motor off? I mean, how do I turn it off? Do I go over here and hit this button right here? I never even thought of that. Yeah. That doesn't really do it. So I'm going to turn off the engine. Ha! It's all gone. And then one person said, well, yeah, but you can power that accessory back on. It doesn't matter. You just powered the accessories all off. You can't beat it. Anybody out there, show me how to outsmart what I just did. Where on this bike here, you don't have to be some brain surgeon or scientist. You just turn on the power. You can leave it on, start the bike, turn the bike off, You still have your accessories on. Why did Harley take that away? That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So, all right. So now, going from the technology side, it's obvious this here is a 117 motor. This over here has a 121 motor. Now, here's something that I did a little research on, because on my 23 Platinum CVO, it had the VVT 121 motor. This does not have the VVT setup. Same cubic inch motor, 121, but different engineering design. What do I mean by that? Well, when you have a variable valve timing motor that's been around for many years, nothing new, it literally is a camshaft that has two lobes for each of the valves. So it's more about trying to make the motor be more efficient, more powerful, and it's kind of crazy. You can look it up. But the variable valve timing literally has a solenoid in the motor that the computer tells the solenoid whether to switch the lobe on the cam. So if you kind of understand cams and lobes, if you don't, you should look it up. But one lobe may raise the intake higher, or it may raise it lower. And so it's a cool technology, but it's more about trying to make the motorcycle more emission compliant, more powerful, and if anything, even more fuel efficient. But it's a really kind of weird design. So this motor here, it has one, the cam setup is the cam setup. The lobe setup on the cam, there's not like a second lobe on it where it changes the way the air intake ends up bringing in the air to the motor to make the bike run. You need air, oxygen to mix the fuel and get combustion. So that's what that variable valve timing motor is. But it's weird because I had many days when I come out and start that bike up, and I even have video of trying to start that bike up, and it would start and then it would die. And actually that is a symptom of that technology. If you do a little research, you'll see that has been kind of a challenge with that technology. A car will start up, motorcycle will start up, and in the end, it just turns off. It just chokes itself off. And then you have a hard time restarting it. And I have video of my bike doing that. Very aggravating. And that's one reason I kind of felt like that 23 VVT motor. I even was really hesitant to buy the 23 just because I felt like it'd be the guinea pig. It'd be very interesting to see as time progresses if the VVT motor really does have a lot of challenges and issues. That's one reason I got rid of the 23, and I love this non-VVT motor. I would take that all day long over the VVT. I just can't see it. All right, so the motor, and then of course this motor here, this has much more horsepower than this motor has, but it's fine. So now you're down here to the highway bars. Look at the highway bars. Look at the highway bars. Totally different design. This here, I've already bought the foot pegs and the bracket for my highway pegs. Here, I don't really know what this is all about. I guess it's when you're going around a corner, and I mean, I just don't. Somebody else will know better than me. Is that where you put your feet? I've kind of tried it. It's not really that confident. It's not really that great. I guess you can, but that's kind of where I'm kind of, I guess those are highway pegs, and they're also your lay down the bike protection. I kind of get all that. So, okay. So there's a difference right there. The air intake seems to be much bigger. If you look at that air intake versus the 121, much bigger. But then I've talked about this numerous times. Look at the floorboards versus those floorboards. So I'll go over to the other side here, and you'll see that this has a much longer floorboard, and this has a much shorter floorboard because that gives you a little more of that performance-oriented posture, the way your feet are on the floorboards. And I think of you getting your feet out from underneath that pedal and hitting the brake pedal, shifting, whatever it may be. So there's another difference. This bike here doesn't have the liquid-cooled heads. I don't think it does. Pretty sure that this one here does. You'll see like a little reservoir here. Yeah, right here. So the new 2021 or 2024 121 motor, the 2023 121 motor, this now has liquid-cooled heads for the emissions compliance. That's what it's all about. Coming over here, the seats are, what's interesting is the Street Glide is a little tight. This bike seems like it has a little bit more room. That's just kind of weird for me. Maybe it's my own imagination, but I feel like the leg room and the posture in this bike is a little different, but I'm probably just confused on that because on this bike here, it's definitely a little bigger. And I used to always talk about that from the Indian to the Harley product was on one, the Indian I feel like is always like a bigger platform bike. I've already talked in depth on that. So it's just, are these about the same? Maybe the 23, 24 CVOs gained a little bit more room there. I think maybe they did. I could be wrong, but just riding them, this doesn't feel as cramped as my Street Glide. This doesn't feel as cramped as my Street Glide. You come over here to the back. Suspension, the gentleman watched my channel, the Showa rear suspension gas, the Showa front, I guess, inverted forks. So it's all a whole different suspension, much more racing geared type of shock system on this motorcycle. This one, not so much. This does not have all that new technology. This has the traditional square bags. This has more of the rounded, bulbous bag. But when you open this one up here, and you kind of feel it, you kind of see that there. These always have kind of been borderline a little flimsy, but it seems like the newer ones is even more so. But I don't know. Maybe not. It just kind of seems, and it's a little bigger. So this is a little bigger capacity for that rear saddlebag. Just, looking, watching around on what's the difference as I'm talking to you. And the exhaust, of course. And this, of course, has the carbon fiber. But here's the thing. This is a $43,000 motorcycle. This is like a $34,000 motorcycle, and I got it for like $31,000. That's where a little confusion came in this deal. For Skyline Harley, they may have gotten that deal at Street Glide because, I don't know, the numbers were kind of getting confusing because me looking at my used bike, which was 28.8 versus up there at Chesapeake, they were wanting, they eventually wanted close to 33 in this bike. And right before the whole deal went down, I actually questioned their price on this because they were giving me 33 for my CVO, but out there at Skyline, they were at 28. And I met with the owner yesterday, and I hammered the hell out of him trying to get that deal done. But at Skyline, they were just playing with numbers on discounting and making the bike look worth more. But at the end of the day, I can't even, to this point, question how much better a deal I actually got at Chesapeake. I don't know. I think it seemed like there was like a $4,000 difference. But I'm not so sure of that now. But this is where it kind of gets different. Chesapeake doesn't charge the setup and freight. And in today's world, that's worth $2,000. So there's the challenge that you have there with Skyline versus Chesapeake. So Chesapeake could say I'm selling a bike for 31 grand. Skyline could say I'm selling the bike for 28 or 29 grand or whatever. But then they put the back end fees in, and so you're back to about the same price. Whole point is, it'd be very interesting to see Chris, my good friend out there. I'd actually be intrigued just to say, what were those real final numbers that you got versus what Chesapeake Harley got? But I know one thing, we worked a Street Glide deal, and the money down was $3,000-$4,000 more to get the same deal done on a Road Glide than it was a Chesapeake Harley. So that's where we have to say, I think there was a $3,000 or $4,000 difference. And I'm not here calling out either dealership. I'm here just sharing information. When you shop bikes, you buy things, you really have to be careful, because once you start shopping around and looking, if you don't really crunch the numbers and write down everything you're getting, it gets confusing, and you'll end up buying something that's more money than you actually were paying for somewhere else. This goes on all the time in the car market, motorcycle market. So, sorry. So now back to the ST, the really cool graphics. But what's really cool is I now have technically two Fast Johnnies. I have two Fast Johnnies. Got a Fast Johnny CVO ST, and I got a Fast Johnny Road Glide. Is that so cool? The daughter loves this bike, and she would love to ride it. But last night we got home, and she's still on her tippy toes. It's a lot of bike, and she's really cool because she really is still on the page. Like, you know what? It's just, she's got to be really at that stage where she feels like she's riding. There's no doubt in my mind. She can ride the bike. There's not mine. I can put her on the bike. She can ride it. It's more about handling the bike. Excuse me. It's more about handling the bike. I get a water. You drink coffee in the morning. You talk a lot. You get all choked up. So I can get some water here. And sorry, apologies for the voice. But when you talk every day like I do every day of my life, good Lord. Yeah, how do you keep your voice, right? I mean, it's true. Some people lose their voice because they talk too much, which is the truth. So for the kid, for my daughter, she loves this motorcycle. She actually loves this more than the Street Glide. She thinks it looks better. And once again, there's no doubt in my mind, my daughter can ride the bike. But can she handle the bike? It's a lot of bike. She's basically coming off a 700-pound motorcycle, this Lowrider ST. And this is where I got to do my research, or somebody reach out. Are you telling me that 2024, there's no longer a Lowrider ST? Wow. I mean, am I getting the collection or what? Is that factual? I don't know. I mean, because I'm not fixated on this. I got too many damn things. I know some people will reach out my channel and they think I'm incompetent. You know, I'm like, hey man, good luck. Anybody here, come to my garage today and you start naming off every fine detail of every one of these motorcycles, horsepower, cubic inches, what year, what color they call it. Come on by. Go to my cars, and don't take it the wrong way. I'm not trying to be aggressive or mean. I'm just saying, if you're in my shoes, what's the name of this color? Vapor Blue. What's the name of this? Is this called Onyx White? I don't even know. I don't know. What's this called here? This silver? Is it silver metallic? I mean, is this the Raven color? What do you say? This is the Raven color. What's this called? What blue do they call the Fast Johnny? I mean, oh my gosh, it just gets overwhelming of information. That's the Gold Rush paint thing. Plum crazy. And once again, it's just so much information. It's just like, wow. So for me, you think about it, you go a week ago Friday, I brought this home. And I gave up my Indian Challenger Elite. You go 1 week later to a Sunday, a little later, and I bring home the Fast Johnny. Now, the next thing that's going on, I've got a bunch of people clamoring over my tractor out here, the 4044R, and I've got a guy, I think, is going to bring me a certified check tomorrow to buy it, which ought to be cool, because I have to go to the Virginia tractor dealer today, and I have to sign the paperwork for that 3046. If I don't, the tractor's gone. It's a person buying it. I mean, it's just incredible. And here's the thing. The dealers are telling me. So, Skyline Harley, they had one of their best months yet in January. Up there, Chesapeake Harley, they haven't had very good months here the last few months, but he said the foot traffic has picked up significantly, and they're selling a lot of motorcycles. So, once again, doomer gloomers, all these guys out there saying the world's coming to an end. Probably is. I mean, just because people keep on buying things doesn't mean that the world's not going to come to an end. But also, kind of surprised, I made a whole separate video Saturday morning talking in great length about the Camaro Z28. And I really didn't get much response out of that per se. Interesting to know if a lot of my subscribers actually watched that video, because right now, this coming Saturday, I have a 2014 Camaro Z28 black being delivered to my house from Carvana. This will be my third Carvana purchase in like the last 3-4 years. My first one was a Toyota 4Runner, Cavalry Blue, 2018 model, that I actually went to Carvana's vending machine to pick up and get the whole experience. Second one was the Gold Rush Challenger sitting in the garage that they delivered to my house. Now the third one will be the Camaro Z28, which they're supposed to deliver on Saturday afternoon, which then I get to check it all out and see if it makes any sense. But the thing is, what's really challenging is that Camaro is so much this car, but more radical, meaning the weight. The Camaro Z28 is like 3,800 and change in weight. This is 3,800 pounds and change in weight. This has the 5.0 Coyote motor that's 500 horsepower and like 400 and, I don't know, is it 445 or 450 foot-pounds of torque or something? The Camaro is like 505 with the 7-liter 427 motor in it, and has like 480 foot-pounds of torque. But the Camaro has that GTD in the Mustang 3 Series DSSV Multimatic suspension built into that car, which is so cool because I've talked in great length about that Ford Mustang GT. So I never realized that Multimatic, you're going 10 years ago. 10 years ago. So here's the thing. It's old school. If I buy the Camaro, it's going to be old school. It's going to be a 10-year-old car. Wow. So that's why I was talking this morning. How do we take conversations of old? And I just think more than ever, we're going to start witnessing more and more people wanting to go back to good old days, the good old days. They just really want, I mean, have you seen the new picture of what we really now are seeing? It's going to be the new next generation Dodge Charger. I mean, it's borderline hideous looking. It's borderline an insult to Dodge. It's going to lose. I just can't see the true Mopar base wanting that that vehicle. I just can't see it. I'm sure they'll sell some, but I think it'd be like anything else. You have a flock of people who want it, and then it just disappears, and the car just is a slow seller. Could be wrong, but March 5th, they're doing the reveal. And it'll be out there. March 5th, Stellantis is going to release the real deal on the Dodge Charger and what it's going to look like and the specs and everything else. The dogs are making a lot of noise up there. I got to get up there and see what the hell's going on. It just doesn't end. With the dogs, probably should take his little toy here. This would probably be a good idea for Keefy Boy to chew on that instead of tear apart my office, right? So get up here and kind of, wind it down and get the day going. Monday, got a busy week. Got to get over to the dealer to see about the tractor, but got jobs to do. Hey, pups. Here you go, bud. There you go. There's your toy. You need a toy. I should have given that toy to you earlier without destroying my office, and thank God he did not do that. So went out and bought another computer just as an end. That computer's so old. I bought the kid a nice inexpensive MacBook for her to help me run my business. And one of my key guys is back. Bob, that's worked for me since 2002 on a part-time basis. He worked for the first time since July of last year. He recovered from that massive throat surgery. He's so blessed. He's so lucky that didn't get through his whole body. Heavy smoker and a drinker throughout his whole life. And Bob doesn't really watch my videos, but all I'm saying to you is it's freed up me now where I can go to Florida. So I'm probably going to head to Florida here in the next week or two to see my mother. And happy birthday to my mother. My mother's going to be 91 years old today. And wow, I'm going to be on my birthday as well on the 24th and be 61 years old. Yikes. That's the thing. We're all getting older. I'm the youngest in the family. So that's incredible. And how, as you know, anybody here, they understand too damn well about the how we all progress and how we all get older. And the thing is, you kind of take the state of times, and it doesn't just seem incredible where we are. We have a country being run by a bunch of old farts. It's incredible. It's incredible. If you look at all these different individuals that are in power, they're a bunch of old farts. And in so many ways, we now have Donald Trump and Joe Biden are most likely to be the candidates. I mean, Nikki Haley, I guess, could prevail at the last second. I can't see it per se, but here it is. You know what? I figured I'd show you, because I don't know how many people like to watch that, but I just always like to share the fun. You know what I mean? So this is crazy. I don't disagree. Why the hell do I buy this? Why the hell do I buy this? I mean, really, I get it. But my good friend Chris, he's so funny. He says, well, if the tidal wave's going to happen, I'm like, the tidal wave? What are you talking about? He's like, this will turn into now, you'll have to have the Camaro, the Corvette, the C8 Corvette. Then it'll turn into, you're going to have to get a GMC or a Chevy truck, because now you're going back to GM. So he's like, we're gonna witness now the Iceman going back to GM as he dumps all his Ford stuff. I said, I can't see that. I can't see that happening. Would I like to have a C8 Corvette? Yeah, I mean, that would be neat to get at some point. But, you know, how I pull that off. But here's the danger. You know, here this car is just being added to the fleet. I'm not trading anything. So where am I going to park this damn thing? I'm going to have no choice but to get these other motorcycles into the trailers. Listen to Kiefer. Is he having a good old time? Is he in heaven? What the hell is he eating? I don't even know. Probably Julia gave him a new freaking toy or something. But anyways, there it is. That'll be the big Saturday shebang. So, but anyways, back to the old. Boy, I tell you what, if you're watching this new funding bill for the Ukraine war and for the Gaza, Israel war, and for the immigration, it's incredible. We have like $118 million bill that they're maybe going to pass. And in that, there's $20 billion for our own country, but the rest of it all goes to the other $98 billion in so many ways goes to other parts of the world. As we just use like $20 billion to try to get the border, and that's really heavy and deep stuff. I'm not going to do it. But this is what I thought. It's old school thought. Think this through. Everybody share this with all your friends. This is really classic. When Joe Biden came into office, he ripped up Donald Trump's immigration laws in so many ways. Now, I'm sure there's some things that weren't, but the thing is, Joe Biden has had now, you know, what's he now in his fourth year of presidency? When his first year he came in, he tore everything up. And so Joe Biden's had all these many years to get the illegal immigration and more in order. And I know there's two sides of the story. I'm no fool, but here, this is what I'm trying to convey. So they're finally coming down the home stretch, maybe get this immigration thing in some ways better than what it is. I don't think it's the answer. I don't think it's really the best, but I guess in some ways it'll maybe help slow down what's going on and address things that maybe just try to get a little bit more of a handle. But it's old school. So for Joe Biden, what he's going to do, he's going to be running now on his ticket claiming on how he's cleaned up the illegal immigration. And he's passed this new bill, and rah, 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 shish kamba. And for somebody out there feel like this Ukraine-Russia war is just a freaking fiasco at our expense. Doesn't make any sense to, I think, many citizens. Many people, I think it's more of the money grab. But here's the point. So if Joe Biden runs off how he's gotten this country back in order in so many ways, illegal immigration, he's got these wars funded, and he's kind of got things simmered down, and how great he is, and he gets reelected. So January of next year, when he's reaffirmed into office, I guess that's what they do. I'm not even really sure on that. The first day he's back in his official next 4-year term, he'll just rip up the bill he just passed. Does anybody think this stuff through? This is classic. So he'll pass this bill, and yeah, by the time it gets to be put in effect, you know, it'll get maybe a 9-month, it'll get maybe 10 months worth of, you know, the change up of what they're kind of doing. But I guarantee you, once he's back in office, he'll just, you know, he'll take it back. He'll take it away. It'll be start all over again. Oh my gosh. All right, that's it. Much more things. I think Elon Musk got me. If you're watching my video yesterday, this guy was faking out to be an Elon Musk. Now, I do believe Elon Musk did like, excuse me, did like my, he liked my comment about this illegal immigration, about the Jeremiah Wright. So, but somebody else wrote off of that, I think, and then tried to be Elon Musk. And my daughter got the biggest kick out of it yesterday. If you kind of watch that video yesterday, when you're leaving, you just turn it on, you'll see what I got suckered into, but I didn't. I mean, right, okay, guys claim to be Elon Musk, and at first it's like, wow, that's pretty cool, but then it's time kind of for chatting and kind of looking at his you know, his username, and I just was like, let's just see how far this goes. I mean, let's just see how far this guy goes. And he went a long way. He's only hoping I was so stupid to give him money. Yeah, right, I'm going to do that. But anyways, that's it, everybody. Hey, everybody, stay tuned for more adventures. And for everybody, have a great day, blessed day. And once again, thanks for the support. And anybody out there, one guy here recently, he put in the comments, he wanted to get the email, iceagetvcomments@gmail.com. And get a sticker. I never did hear from the guy. So it's IceHTV comments at gmail.com. And I'll send you a sticker or two or whatever. So anyways, that's it. Hey, everybody, have a great, safe day. God bless. And if you're in California, wow, what's the hell's going on out there? That's a shambles. Wow.